Good morning and welcome to the first Closers Cafe for December 2025. Hard to believe there was only 1 month left in the year. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. It was great to have our oldest son home, Caden, home for a few days. Had to drive him back. Well, didn't drive him back. We drove him to the airport, and then he'll be back home in a couple of weeks for a little bit of a longer stretch, which will be nice to have him there as well. I've got an exercise I'm going to recommend all of you, and maybe we'll even walk through it to a certain degree this morning here to help you identify where there might be low-hanging fruit for you to do more deals, for you to sell more homes, for you to find more clients, to grow your business. And going to keep it short and sweet this morning. I'm going to focus on that particular topic. My kids are still off. They have off because we're in a district where today's the first day of hunting season, and we got a lot of people that like to go hunting. So they're off today still, and we've got some running around that we got to do. But what I want to really spend a little bit of time on is where and how to find the opportunities to do more, to sell more homes, to work with more clients, to help more clients. It's a simple idea, a simple concept, but I would venture to bet that many of you here have not done this recently. And I would suggest that this exercise is something you might consider doing, if not monthly, certainly quarterly, to identify where there are opportunities for you to double down and do more. Let me give you a very specific example in my own business, and point you to a resource that I shared a week or two ago. So I had recorded a short little case study video. It was like 5 or 6 minutes. It's on the Josh Shanley Coaching YouTube channel, about how I took 2 listings using a simple email, text, email campaign, 2 weeks ago now. Might be 3 weeks ago now. I don't remember. But it's a simple process, a marketing campaign or sequence that I use each and every month, and has predictably created results for me. This year alone, I believe that has generated 6 transactions. Well, 4 closed transactions and 2 new listings. And I was sharing that with a buddy of mine, Jason, the #1 luxury agent in Nashville, who's also just a phenomenal marketer himself. And he said, well, why don't you just try and do more of that? How about you just do more? And so it got me thinking. You can check out the case study of that. It's on Josh Shanley Coaching. It's literally 5 or 6 minutes. If you can't find it, just DM me or text me. My number's on the screen here, 717-571-0456. So that campaign is a campaign that I run in my Bold Trail each month. And Bold Trail is my primary CRM. It's my warm prospect CRM. But I've also had a ton of success using, I basically have 2 different platforms or CRM. I have my warm and I have my cold. And so what I'm doing, and it started this morning, is I'm running that same sequence in my cold outreach CRM. And I'm going to let that sequence play out, and then I'll turn that into a case study. My guess is it will create some number greater than 0 of listing opportunities, and we'll see what that number ends up being. But the point or the moral of the story is this: you should be regularly focusing on identifying what is working in your business, and then strategically finding as many ways possible to do more of that thing. Meaning, in real estate, there are lots of ways to get clients. There are lots of client acquisition processes. And in fact, on Friday, I'm hosting a free workshop for anyone who's interested with a simple 3-step system for closing one deal a week every week. And you can register for that free training, that free workshop at onedealaweek.com. Onedealaweek.com. Now, what I will be detailing on that workshop is one specific way or process or pillar of business. But in real estate, there are lots and lots of ways for you to grow your client base and fill your pipeline. So the activity, the exercise for you would be to find or identify at least one thing that has worked for you this year or maybe over the last few years, and ideally has created more than one of the desired result. So one strategy that you've used that has created at least more than one, whether it's new listing or new buyer client or whatever that is, because one could be an anomaly, right? You can kind of accidentally happen into one good result, right? You can kind of, you can get lucky, quote unquote, on one. But if it has happened multiple times, most likely there's something there. And what my prescription would be for you is to find more ways to do more of that thing. We all can get bored in this business, myself included. We constantly are looking for shiny objects. But the best businesses, the most predictable and scalable businesses, are the boring businesses. The boring businesses. The businesses that do the same thing each day, each week, each month, and therefore have steadily growing profits. I'll share a story here that I'm going to share on Friday as well in the free workshop. onedealaweek.com. The number onedealaweek.com is where you can register for free for that. When I first got licensed in 2007, I got licensed specifically with the intent to work with real estate investors. I had been an investor myself. I had wholesaled properties. I had a fairly sizable portfolio of rental properties at the time. I had done a bunch of fix and flips with partners, and there was a marketing expert who had created a licensing model around how to build a real estate sales practice geared towards servicing real estate investors. And in my first year, I closed 26 transactions as a rookie agent, literally the first year I was licensed. And in my second year, I closed, I can't remember if it was 46 or 49, but it was just shy of 50 transactions. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I got distracted. I got shiny object syndrome. I started to look at other opportunities. I fell in love with marketing, which I think is a good thing and has served me really well. But if I had just continued to focus on that model and that way of acquiring clients and building a deeper pipeline, who knows? I may have closed 100 transactions the next year, or certainly I would have gotten to 100 transactions a lot sooner than not. And the reason why I share that story is most likely, if you are struggling or if you just have big goals in real estate, whether it's for this month or the first quarter of 2026 or next year or the next 3 years, most likely you already have the answer as to how to make that happen, what to do. You just need to do more of it. And so here would be a very practical exercise that you could do to take what I'm saying in theory and put it into practice. I'm going to share my screen here. If you're watching the TikTok live and you want to see my screen, you can pop over to Josh Shanley Coaching on YouTube. And I'm going to bring up a spreadsheet that I've been working on in my own business and recommend that you do the same or something similar. Okay. So this is a spreadsheet of my own personal production, just my personal production this calendar year. And then what I've done is identified the source of those businesses. Now, why am I doing that? Well, again, to make very tangible the idea that I'm sharing here, which is for me to see, to kind of give myself a 10,000-foot view of what has actually worked this year, so I can know with some degree of certainty that if I just do more of X, I will get more of Y. If I do more of this thing, I'll get more of this result. So for me, for example, and this is part of the 3-step system that I'll share on Friday's free workshop, onedealaweek.com, reaching out to potentially motivated sellers through cold outreach using a very specific process has turned into me for this year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 transactions. So why would I not do more of that? Why would I not do enough of that, so much of that, that I'm doing 7 a month from that one strategy? The answer is the only thing stopping me from doing that is me. The only thing keeping me from doing a whole bunch more of that is me. Now, there are actual roadblocks or hurdles in the implementation of more, but I can confidently go after that or proactively look for how to do more of that, knowing that I have evidence that has worked. Now, let me give you some other ways to think about this, because this is just a spreadsheet that's transaction and source. But you will likely have to go one level deeper to identify what was the actual activity that generated the more or that generated the result. Because then it's that activity that you will likely need to do more of. And as you're doing this exercise, I would focus your energy on the things that you have direct control over. Because there are transactions on this list that I didn't have direct control over. And most agents who are either currently or have experienced the idea of being on the commission roller coaster or the feast and famine cycle is because their business is reactive and not proactive. What do I mean by that? Their business is based upon them reacting to something coming their way. A referral from a past client, a referral from sphere of influence, maybe a corporate referral. At EXP, we have a division called Revenos, which is a referral division And I've closed a number of transactions this year from our referral division. And that's wonderful. And I'm grateful for those. But I don't have any direct control over that opportunity or those opportunities. They come when they come. Much the same if your business, if you're by referral only, you're choosing for your business or for you to be on the commission roller coaster or the feast and famine cycle. If you're choosing to work by referral only, you are proactively choosing a hard business and one that you don't have control over. And what I will share with you on, again, it's a completely free workshop. It will be Friday, onedealaweek.com, the number onedealaweek.com, onedealaweek.com. You can register for free there. I will walk you through a simple 3-step process, 3-step system for closing a deal a week. And you may be asking, well, how do I know that that works? Well, I know that that system works because for me, since September 1st, I have closed 15 transactions. I have taken another 7 listings, and I have 6 more that are in escrow, and I have 3 that I'm negotiating right now, meaning in the next 24 to 48 hours, that 6 in escrow might be 9. And the majority of those results have come from the 3 steps that I'm going to walk you through on that free training, onedealaweek.com, onedealaweek.com. I would love to know in the comments. I would love to see what has been your number one source of business this year? Closed transactions. In the comments, what has been your number one source of business this year? I can look at it for me. Let me see here. This is a good question here. Here's a better way. Actually, here's what I want to illustrate. Here's a better way for me to communicate the results that I've had since September 1st. Okay, so I talked about 15 closed transactions, 7 new listings, 6 more in escrow, and potentially as many as 3 more in the next 24 to 48 hours. Of all of those, one of them was from my sphere of influence or past client bucket. One. Now, if I had just been waiting around for that opportunity, my kids would be very hungry. Let's put it that way. My kids would be very hungry. So for me, I'm looking at my spreadsheet here. I know, and I'm sharing my screen here. But for me, the number one source of proactive business is the very thing that I will be sharing on Friday. And number 2 for me, relates to a topic of our Wednesday mastermind from 2 Wednesdays ago. Number 2 for me is warm inbound cash offer request leads. People who are looking to sell their home fast for cash, or at least curious what a cash offer looks like for their property. And in fact, I had one come in yesterday afternoon. Yes, on a Sunday afternoon. And yes, I did talk with Aaron, the person that came through. And yes, I did schedule an appointment with Aaron for Tuesday because I was available, and I used text and a 3-minute conversation to schedule that because that's just what I'm committed to. I'm committed to winning every day. So here's your homework, or my recommendation for an action item from today's session. Spend some time today or this week identifying or listing out your closed transactions for the year. And what if you're watching this and you're like, I don't have any, or I only have a few. Well, then expand it out to identify who are the active clients you're working with, even if you don't have them under contract, you don't have the listing signed, you don't have an accepted buyer's agreement for them. Identify those folks and where they came from. What was the source for them? So you can figure out and identify what do you need to do more of so you can more proactively fill your pipeline with opportunities. And when you do this, it will give you clarity on what you should focus on to make 2026 your best year ever. It will give you the clarity and the confidence to know what to do to grow your business in 2026, to proactively fill your pipeline in 2026. And I can just tell you from my own personal experience. For me, when I got clarity around that, and I have created the focused activity around that, which started late summer, I now have a pipeline so full of opportunity that I get to choose who I'm doing business with, number one. And I don't have to wonder where my next transaction is coming from. In fact, once this live is over, I have to follow up with, it's either 4 clients and potential clients. Number one, to schedule to see 2 different properties. Number 2, about a counter offer. Number 3, to schedule an appointment on a future listing. And number 4, what was number 4? Oh, number 4, to resubmit an offer. Oh, and I've got a 5th one here. A 5th one here to see when we want to get her listing live. Okay? Like that's reality. And the reality is, for most of you just need to do a lot more of what you already have evidence it is worked and has worked in your business. Just a lot more of it. A lot more. And as you start to do more of those activities, it's even more important that you commit to the habits and the non-negotiables that I shared last week on the live stream. Things like answering your phone, returning all missed calls, returning all text messages in a timely fashion, returning all DMs and comments in a timely fashion, replying to all emails in a timely fashion, sending a deal of the week email to your entire database, using the 3-step email, text, email, home value update process, which is what I started to talk about, or what I talked about at the beginning of this live stream, which is one of the things that got me 2 new listings, which I then am taking that and I'm doing a lot more of that thing this week, that marketing campaign, doing a lot more of that this week so I can create more conversations. And those more conversations lead to more contracts, and those more contracts lead to more closings. So a couple of things as I wrap up this live stream. Number 1, do this activity. Do this activity. Sit down for this year. Maybe it's the last 2 years. Identify, list out. For me, I just put it in a Google spreadsheet. List out all your closed transactions and the source of those transactions. And take one step beyond that. And was there something you did to create that opportunity? And can you do you control that? Okay. So because what you want to identify is where are the levers in your business that you can pull more and control more. So I'm not saying we don't want to do business with the warm referrals that come from our sphere of influence, our past clients, or from other referral sources. I'm just saying that we don't directly have control over those. And if we're only relying on those, that's where you get stuck in the roller coaster or in the feast and famine cycle in this business. So identify those. If you want to be an overachiever, include not just closed transactions, but active clients or clients that are kind of in the pipeline who maybe are pre-approved, or who maybe it's investors that you know what they will buy or what they're interested in and how you connected with them. What was the source that created those opportunities? Or listings that you know they're going to sell, but they're waiting until the end of winter or springtime or something like that. And find where are those opportunities? Where is the low-hanging fruit that if you just did more of that, you'd have more opportunities in your pipeline and you'd be closing more deals consistently. I'm going to highly recommend that you join me, onedealaweek.com, onedealaweek.com, a free workshop I'm hosting for anyone who's interested later this week. 3 simple steps to close a deal a week every week without a big ad budget, without having to do a bunch of silly TikTok style videos, and without having to work a bunch of nights and weekends. So you can actually get your family time back and take control of your calendar and your schedule. If that is something that would be of interest to you, again, you can register absolutely for free, onedealaweek.com. If you want to check out the case study that I referenced a couple of times here on the session, you can check that out on the YouTube channel. I'll show you where to find that. Bring up my channel here so you can see where to find that. If you go to joshshanleycoaching.com, right here, this is the case study. It's 5 minutes and 43 seconds. How I took 2 new listings last week using 2 emails and 1 text message. Check that out. If you want or would like help implementing some of these strategies, you can call or text me at the number right there, or shoot me a DM. Find out where is or are your opportunities to do more. Get the clarity around what that more, what that activity is that you need to be doing more of to put more potential clients, motivated buyers and sellers into your pipeline this week. If you want to win, especially the first quarter of 2026, it starts today. It actually started a month ago, but the best time to plant a tree is what, 5 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever that cliche is, and the next best time is today. So identify and get clarity around what's the activity that if you just did more of that thing, you knew with certainty would create more opportunities for you. And for me, it's the 3 simple steps that I'm going to share with you later this week. onedealaweek.com. Let's make it a wonderful and productive week. And I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow morning. I'll be back my normal time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Thanks for spending some time on a Monday morning here. First day of hunting season in Pennsylvania. I hope you actually do the homework that I recommended, and I hope to see you on the free workshop, onedealaweek.com.